The best advice I can give to any new gardeners out there as a gardener of over 25 years is soil health. In my last video, I just covered how to test your soil's composition at home for free. Now I want to show you how you can test the pH balance of your soil at home for free. So why is the pH balance even important? Well, you could quite literally have the best soil composition. You could have bought and used some of the best fertilizers or organically some that you made at home. And no matter the case, if your soil pH balance is off, well, your plants are not going to be able to absorb any of those nutrients. So soil pH is really one of the utmost important things that you can do for your soil. So for almost predominantly all the vegetables that we typically grow in our backyard, they prefer a neutral state of pH. So on the scale from 0 to 14, you're going to want somewhere between 6.5 and 7.5. That's the goal to aim for. However, you do have certain plants that prefer a slightly more acidic soil, like blueberries, strawberries. Well, in general, a lot of the berry plants. As I stated in my last video, if you're not able to do this at home do-it-yourself test, you do have other free resources or low-cost resources such as your county co-op extension office. You can take soil samples to them, preferably in the fall, because if you do it in the spring, they're going to get backed up. And these guys are amazing. They will quite honestly give you a full detailed list of everything your soil needs, where it's at, and what it needs. If you're anything like me, you kind of like to do things all on your own. And for this test, we're going to need some white distilled vinegar, 2 mason jars, and some baking soda. Of course, 2 soil samples, so let's go get those. And since I've already been out here conducting soil composition tests, I've already dug it back a few inches, and that's something you want to do. You're just going to simply take 1 tablespoon, and yes, this is not completely a tablespoon, it's a big fat spoon. We're going to take 1 of each in each jar. Next up, all you're going to do is take the same spoon, just make sure it's equal parts. It doesn't exactly have to be a tablespoon, guys. Same equal parts. So you got your 1 part soil in each sample, and then you're going to take 1 part water, preferably distilled water. Am I using distilled water? Absolutely not, but it can alter the test results, so I highly suggest the distilled water. We're going to mix these up like we're making mud pies when we're kids. That's it. So the vinegar in this test is obviously our acid. The baking soda in this test is obviously our alkaline. So in this first jar, we have our 1 tablespoon of water, 1 tablespoon of soil already pre-mixed. We're going to add 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Since the vinegar is our acid in this test, if this mixture fizzes, then that means that our soil is more alkaline. And let's laugh together while I take a half-gallon jug and try to measure out a freaking tablespoon of vinegar here. Oh, I did it without trouble. I'll be damned. Let me flip the camera around. And here we go. Take this out in the sun. And I'm not seeing any fizzing. So since we didn't see any fizzing inside of this, this means that the soil may be slightly more acidic. But we're going to go ahead and test it again with the baking soda to double check ourselves. So here we go with the baking soda. Let me give this a stir and flip the camera around. Take this out to the sun so we can better see, and it did slightly fizz a tiny bit. So that just reconfirms to me that my soil is a little bit more on the acidic side, meaning that it's probably below that 6.5. And let's do a recap. When we added our vinegar, we were adding an acid. If it would have fizzed, that would have gave the indication that it was more on the alkaline side. Mine did not fizz, which gave the indication that it was more on the acidic side. When we added the baking soda to the second soil sample, it slightly fizzed, which matched up to adding the acid, giving the indication that my soil is predominantly more acidic. So what can we do to fix things like this? If you need to add amendments to make your soil a little bit more alkaline, look for things like compost, ground eggshells. Some people even go as far as adding baking soda. I opt not to, but there is a thing called gardening lime, and this stuff does wonders. Now, it does take time, but it can help increase your pH to make it a little bit more on the alkaline side to hit that neutral state of 6.5 to 7.5.